Hello, this is 100 Days of Animation, day 54, where I spend a minimum of 30 minutes every day, no matter what is going on, even if it is 12:50 in the morning and I've got to get up at 6. Spending time doing my animation, so I got to work on my short film. And I'm also, because I'm a crazy person, starting a series, AI to AE. Basically how to transition from, if you already know Adobe Illustrator, how to transition from Adobe Illustrator to Adobe After Effects. And you can see that I've got my little logo going on for that. So that is coming soon. So stay tuned. But first off, day 54, intro music. Oh, gosh. So anyway, I decided that I've been sitting in this chair too long and I've started to do a little bit of exercise every time. I'm trying to get in a set of push-ups or a set of pull-ups every 30 to 45 minutes that I'm sitting in my studio to give myself a break. And I'm starting to feel some results. What you just saw was switch grip. See, my mic is in the way. You start, and then at the top, you switch, and then you switch, and then you switch, and then you switch. And so that's not bad. I realize I'm not doing full pull-ups, but I'm fat and approaching 40 and out of shape, and so we're doing what we can. And anyway, I'm going to get in shape, because I don't want to have lower back issues from sitting in this chair. And I've been steadily gaining weight for the last couple of years. So anyway, I'm going to get back into shape. That'll be fun. And today I am working on the wings a little bit more, finishing up, kind of piecing those together and putting the legs and whatnot. But I wanted to talk about this idea. I was watching Cirqueworks, his YouTube channel, and he's doing 100 Days of Comics. And he got me thinking about planning and preparation and how you can overplan so much that you never actually get started on your project. Now, there's a lot of value in pre-production, and I think jumping in to some planning and understanding where your story is going and things like that is really important. But I think for me, and I don't know if this works for everybody, but I think for me, I can plan and study and learn myself into the death of the project. Where basically what happens is I jump in and I say, I'm going to do all the things and I'm going to learn all the things and whatnot. And I could see that happening with this project. I think what could possibly happen is if I wasn't doing this thing, I think it was kind of fortuitous. I came across Kevin Cross and on Twitter, and he said, hey, you should do this 100 days thing for your animation, because I was talking about this animation. And I didn't know anything about After Effects. I could easily have justified buying a couple of courses, watching hours and hours and hours of YouTube videos, and spending months and months and months, maybe take a class, maybe get a couple books, After Effects for Dummies, After Effects for Illustrators, right? I could have spent an indefinite amount of time learning the software. And most people would say, well, yeah, duh. You should know the software of the thing that you're making, right? And what you're using to make it. So here's my problem with that. You never get started. There's never a point where you feel ready, where you feel like now I've achieved spiritual creaminess with this particular thing, and I'm going to do it. I never get to that point. I never do. I'll tell you what I do though, is I do get to the point where I'm like, all right, I'm excited about a project. Just start. Just jump right in. And you guys have noticed that if you've watched all 50, whatever it is, 54, 55 of these so far, you've noticed that I didn't have any storyboards when I got started. I barely had any characters designed. I had a rough idea of what I wanted to do. I didn't even have an ending. I just had kind of a general theme and a couple scribbled notes in a notebook. That's what I had when I got started. And I had some knowledge of Illustrator and Photoshop. That's it. That's what I did to get started. I didn't know how to use After Effects. I didn't know how to do anything. And so, anyway, had I said, okay, I'm going to do some animation, so I'm going to learn all this stuff and do all these things, I could do that forever and never actually get started. But I've learned a ton because I have to. Because I have to figure out how to do the things. I still, at this point in time, do not know how to export something from After Effects. I don't know how to get it out of the software into something else, into a movie format or whatever, or if it even goes somewhere else. I'm assuming it links up with Premiere. I don't know. You know why I don't know? Because my project hasn't gotten to that point yet. But you bet that when my project gets to that point, I'm going to know. Because I have to. I have to figure it out at that point. And so you can get really academic about things and you can learn all this neat stuff about all of these things or whatever. But it's in the application, it's in the experience of it that one, you actually learn it, and two, it sinks, right? And so there's this idea that I think your brain is pretty lazy. Mine is lazy. We all have lazy brains. Like our muscles. Let's talk about pull-ups for a minute, right? And I'm going to relate exercising to learning, okay? And so it's like this. Your muscles will stay as toned as they need to be. Or in other words, they will do the minimum amount of toneness that is required. I'm not going to like sit there and have all my muscles all of a sudden hypertrophy and be like, I'm going to get huge and ripped for no reason, right? They only do that with resistance. They only do that against stress and against pressure and against the need to do that, right? And so if every day or every other day, I am working certain muscle groups and I'm putting resistance and stress and experience in those muscle groups, then those muscle groups are going to get to the point where they're like, all right, this is happening a lot. And so I need to raise to the point where this isn't uncomfortable anymore and meet the minimum requirements of what's going on. That's how muscles work. And your mind works the same way. Your mind will tell you this. You will read about something. You'll watch YouTube videos about something and you will go, oh yeah, totally understand. And your mind goes, shh, you get it. You don't need to do it. You get it. You don't even need to take notes. I get all the time with my students. I'm showing them extremely complex processes. And I look out into the crowd. There's like a handful of them taking notes. And it's not that many. And I'm like, guys, either do it along with me or write it down. Because in an hour, it will be gone. Right now, you feel like you understand what's going on. What's really happening is that your brain is releasing some chemicals and saying, you're learning. It's cool. You don't need to worry about it. Yeah, you got this. You totally understand. You get this feeling of understanding. A feeling of understanding is completely useless because in an hour or a day or a week, when you actually need to use that thing, or years down the road, if you never actually start your project, when you need to learn how to use it, when you actually need to apply what you've learned in industry or in an experience, you will find that feeling that you got, that you understood what you were trying to pick up, is completely useless. That feeling of understanding is the death of learning. And if you only take that, it's that sweet little sip. It's beautiful. I understand it all. And you don't do anything to force it into long-term memory and get it from your brain down into your fingers. It's gone. It's useless. I can read about anatomy for days, for weeks, right? I can look at people walking, sitting, standing, but until I actually put pencil to paper for hundreds of hours in the study of anatomy, I won't be able to draw it. I won't be able to apply it. I get that feeling that I've spent some time doing something, and thus that has some value. And it has some value, but it is a foundational level of value. It's not the house, it's the foundation. And so my advice is this, because I got some bad advice. First, when I started it, I said, I want to learn how to draw. This is 3 or 4 years ago. 4 years ago now. I want to learn how to draw. And so what did I do? I decided, okay, I'm going to start a comic, right? Because I couldn't think I could, that seemed to me like something that was 1, doable, and 2, required a ton of drawing. And so I learned about drawing a lot. I read about drawing a lot, but I didn't start. I didn't start for a while. And then I started planning things, and I started doing all this stuff, but it wasn't actually producing pages. And it wasn't until I actually started producing pages and drawing panel by panel, cell by cell, did I actually start to learn how to draw. And those first pages that I did, first huge chunk of pages, the first year that I put into that book, are awful. They're terrible looking. They're really embarrassing. But that's learning, right? You got to get all of that out, all of that bad out so that you can get to the good, okay? And it only happens in the application of it. It only happens in the doing. And if the only thing that you do is the learning, the knowing, then you'll never be able to do it. And doing it is the whole point, right? If you look back at one of these videos that I did on existentialism, I'm an existentialist, and an existentialist believes that we become, or we are defined by our actions. We're not defined by what we profess to believe or what we know. We're defined with what we do with those beliefs, what we do with that knowledge, right? You can't claim to be a writer if you never write. You can't claim to be an artist if you never draw, right? It'd be crazy for some 400-pound dude who owns the nicest bicycle in the neighborhood to claim that he's like some sort of cyclist athlete when he's not, because he never takes his bike out, right? Now, if one day he decides, holy cow, I'm 400 pounds, I'm going to get out there and start biking. On day one that he starts doing it, he can claim, I'm a cyclist, right? And if he continues to do that every day, then he can continue to claim that he's a cyclist. As soon as he stops, he was a cyclist. I used to bike, right? And so the whole point of this thing is to say, you will never be ready, and you will never be good enough, and you will never get to the point where you feel like you belong amongst the ranks of those that you look up to. The only way that you're going to get there is by doing it. And so you need to start your project right now, today. Do something on it today. Set some goals. You don't have to do 100 days, do 30 days, do whatever, right? Or say that you're going to spend 20 hours a week on it, or 10 hours a week. Okay, whatever it is, set something and start. Don't take too much time planning. You will find that you will plan along the way. You will plan out of necessity. You'll say, you know what? I've spent the last 3 days doing something, and if I don't make some plans with this, I'm going to continue to waste my time doing this. And you will plan out of necessity. Planning happens, right? Goal setting and planning happens. But if you just work every day at moving the needle, the application and the experience of doing that will actually make it so that you will learn what you need to learn. And you will recognize what you didn't even know that you didn't even know, right? So that's another part about learning, is that feeling of understanding masks a ton of things, right? That feeling of understanding masks all of the holes that you don't know, that you haven't even come across. I didn't even know parts of the anatomy existed or were problematic or hard to draw until I started drawing it and said, wait a minute, I actually have no idea what the human elbow looks like. The human elbow is so ridiculously difficult to draw. I would have known that. It's just the part where your arm bends. I understand that, right? There's that feeling. But until you try to figure out how to draw it, that is freaking hard. Anyway, so the whole point of this is this, right? Have you ever been in a dream where something happens And it just makes total sense. You wake up the next day and you think, what? What on earth? In the light of day, it makes no sense, right? You're in California and you step into your closet, and when you turn around, you're in Paris, France. And in your dream, it's just like, of course, that's great. Let's go. Okay. At no point in time do you think, how did I get there? Is there a teleporter in this dream? You just changed scenes and it wasn't a big deal. And your brain just said, shh, ignore that plot hole. You're fine. Right. That's what the understanding, the feeling of understanding does to you, is it masks and hides all of the things that you don't know. And it makes you feel like you understand what's going on. And understanding is worthless without application and without effort. And so it is in the effort and in the application of those things that you begin to learn what it is that you don't know. You begin to learn how to actually do something, and you begin to learn that you can do it. And so as long as you have that feeling of understanding in the back of your mind, you will always feel like, I don't quite know how to do it. And there's that doubt. But you finish a page, you finish a character, you finish a drawing, you finish an animation, you finish a walking cycle or whatever, and you know how to do that thing that you just finished. At least a little bit. At least at the quality that you produced it. And you've had some success, and you've had some failures, and you're still living and breathing, and you can still move forward. In any case, that's my 2 cents. I'm not much of a planner. I'm not much of a guy who wants to go out and map out my life. And, I don't have a 5-year plan. At work, they're always trying to make me get a 5-year plan. And my plan is, I always tell them, my plan is this. I want to do the best I possibly can. I want to continue to improve at everything that I do while I'm awake. That's what I'm doing right now. I can tell you what I'm doing for the next 46 days is I'm working on this animation. That's what I'm doing right now. That's what's going on. I have a 46-day plan. 54 days ago, I had a 100-day plan. That was it. I don't know what I'm going to do with this later. I don't know what purpose it's going to serve. I just have a story that I needed to tell, and so I'm doing it. I jump in. I don't question things too much. Action is where progress comes from. So anyway, that's that. Hey, did you know that I am running a contest where I'm going to give away a couple of free shirts and some stickers? And the only thing that you have to do is go through these 100 days of animation videos and make a comment. I will count the first comment on each video as an entry. I'm going to do 2 random number generators. The first one will be 1 through 55, and I will choose the video that I'm going to choose from. Then I will take everybody's first comments on that video, and I'll do another random number generator, 1 through however many comments there are, and whatever the random number generator picks, they get a free shirt or a free sticker pack or something along those lines. So you guys should do that, and you should spread the word and whatnot. And it's a little bit of a trick on my part. And since I'm telling you that it's a trick, I don't think it actually counts as being a trick. But here's the deal. I want you to look at the stuff that I have for sale. Maybe you'll want it. Maybe you'll win it. It's great. I'm going to let you choose the shirt so you can pick whatever shirt you want. Anyway, do that. Instructions on what exactly is going on have been to the right side of the screen. Is this the right side? This is the left side? I don't know. It's on whichever side it's on. You can see it right now. I don't know why I'm trying to point at it. The whole webcam thing reverses stuff, and sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes it does, and I don't understand when it does and when it doesn't. In any case, you can check all that stuff out at corykerr.com and then click on buy, and you've got some sticker options. You've got some shirt options. And I will be adding a few more of those as we go, and I will announce the winners on day 55. So you have one more day to do it. Leave a relevant comment. Go in and at least say something to do with the video. I have no way of knowing whether you watched the video, so go ahead and cheat on that one. I don't care. Watch 2 minutes of the 15-minute video and comment on something that you saw in those 120 seconds. Anyway, that's it. That's all I want you to do. And if you don't want to do that, that's cool too. Thanks for watching. I would like to hear what you think about my idea of don't spend too much time planning, and leave your comments. I'd really like to know, what is it that kills projects for you? Some people say talking about something kills projects. Some people say, you kind of expend your energy in that conversation. Or, I've heard quite a few people say that, over planning kills, or just that idea that I'll just start tomorrow, right? What is it that is stopping you from doing projects? Or in the past, if you're doing a project right now, good for you. But if you're doing a project right now, what stopped you in the past from doing it? I'm super curious about this because I want to talk about the things that you guys talk about in future videos and podcasts. And I think it'd be super helpful for a bunch of people. And we can talk about how to overcome those things. So what are some of the things that have stopped you from starting projects in the past? That's something that I'm super interested in knowing. Leave that in the comments. Like this video, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at Cory Kerr and Instagram at Cory R. Kerr, and subscribe to YouTube at Cory Kerr Art, and we will catch you guys later. Just saw Moana. I want to like be like the chicken and like just headbutt this thing, just peck it. But I'm not going to because it's a really expensive microphone. So, hey, look, I can press this button. I kind of wish that was my logo that glowed instead of theirs. But, oh well.